Coach, this is a very inauspicious start to
Mhm.
your season at John Marshall. When you first heard the news that RPS would not have a fall sports season, beginning in the winter, what was your initial reaction?
Um, it's kind of preparing for the blast almost. Like we kind of knew this might be the result of everything that's going on, and it'd be such a struggle for us to even get back in the building. And when they announced that we wouldn't be going back to school, that was kind of the initial thought in my mind that maybe if they don't put us in the building, it's hard to kind of lean towards having sports when you're not even allowing kids to get the education. So I didn't really have much expectations moving forward. So I just said, hey, when they announce it, then we'll know something. But until then, I'll prepare as normal. But for now, we just have to sit back and see what they decide.
How have your kids dealt with this news? I mean, this goes all the way back to last summer when they adjusted the schedule from fall to winter, and now no season. Especially, I know it's got to be rough for the seniors.
Yeah, I think they're pretty down about it. It's not the best situation for them because a lot of those kids um, thought this would be an opportunity to showcase their abilities to play at the next level. And I think that'll be the biggest hit for them. But I think I think there'll be some opportunities that'll present themselves moving forward. People are going to have to be a lot more creative on how they recruit kids. So as I've been reaching out to coaches and stuff that I may know, or they're looking for athletes that could play for them, I'm trying to do my best so they still have those same opportunities that presented when they were on the field.
In this situation, how do you keep, your players, whether they're seniors that are going to leave or guys that will be returning next season, how do you keep their heads up and how do you keep them motivated and keep them mentally in tune to what you are trying to build at John Marshall?
I think the most important thing is just to be honest with the kids. First and foremost, just try and let them know what I know, and just give them the scenario that hey, we've always heard that the game can be taken away from you, and this is kind of where we are today. It's no one man's decision and nothing like that, but we've been faced with some adversity here, so we have to pick up our pick up our bootstraps, pull up our bootstraps almost, and just go with the flow and try and do everything that we can do. Academics is the biggest thing that I've been harping on now for my kids, knowing that we might have had some eligibility issues as far as kids just not being perfectionists in the classroom, but trying to be on the field a perfectionist. But now it's a time for you to do that in the classroom as well. Just trying to stay positive with them day to day.
I was going
But
to talk about the academic side because, for a lot of these kids, especially in the city, athletics was kind of like their way to stay motivated academically. And now, when you take away athletics from them, I guess, how do you kind of keep that motivation intact for kids who don't have that outlet now of athletics?
I think they were and I reached out to some of my athletes, and I told them they had to find their reason why they're doing it, because that'll fuel the fire to keep you motivated. It's not all about football. Even if you're playing football, you might do spectacular things on the field because something at home or a situation that you want to get out of. So you got to find your reason why and just try and dig deep into yourself to know that you can do it. You have the ability to do it. So just stay focused, man. It's been a trial and time for everybody. So
Mhm.
it's not well, that was my biggest message to them. We're not the only people going through this. It's kind of the whole world right now.
Have you had a chance to talk to the other coaches at John Marshall and maybe the other coaches within RPS just to kind of get their feel, their pulse on how they're dealing with the same situation you're dealing with?
Yeah, everybody's kind of been feeling like it's kind of up in the air right now. We're trying to find ways to guide ourselves to build something and try and put a plan in place. I think that's the most important thing when you're coaching these kids. You got to have a plan in place so when the time comes, you know what to do. But right now, it's kind of just up in the air moving forward. But at least we have more time on our hands to kind of organize stuff, and we're not in the building, so most people have a lot more time to really look at everything as far as their program And most of us just trying to just put everything in place so when it's time to play football, we can just do that.
That was going to lead me to my last question. I mean, now you have some more time to kind of organize what you want to do for the spring
Yeah.
to get ready for hopefully a fall season in 2021. What's next? What's the next step in the process of the first year for Coach Gillus and John Marshall?
Breaking down each and every game in detail, almost as if we're in the college ranks in the NFL, because that's all those guys do in the offseason. They look at film day in and day out. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me, just to be able to break down the film, the detail, and see what everybody that will be playing are doing, and watch it over and over and over again, and just look at the analytics and evaluate our players. I think that was my biggest thing. I want to know exactly what my players have the capabilities of doing from afar. So then when I get them, I kind of have a mindset of not just, oh, here I am, now just showcase your abilities. I kind of have a mindset of who can do what and who needs to have the ball in their hands at time.
If I could ask one more question, I mean, this is uncharted territory, especially in the Richmond City schools with no sports at all, fall or winter.
Yeah.
Do you lean on mentorships, guys that helped you, once you played and maybe once you got coaching, just to kind of lean on them as to, what do I do? I mean, I know it's a very difficult and a uncharted situation, but get some type of advice from somebody just to say, hey, look, stay calm, stay patient, because this could be, this could roll into a snowball and like
Yeah. Yeah.
all chaos would take place.
So I've had the ability to be around football coaches all my life. So of course, I spoke with my dad about it and asked him what should I be doing right now, and as well as I reached out to the former Elizabeth City State head coach, Coach Tiller.
Hmm.
He's from the Richmond area. He actually lives in Richmond now, so that's been a good thing for me. And as well as my former head coach in college, Coach Donald Hill Ely from Morgan State, which he's now the head football coach at Alabama State. So I've been reaching out to those guys and just keeping in communication and seeing what they're doing. Or, well, Coach Tiller and my dad aren't really preparing for anything right now because those guys are outside of the game, but they still know what should happen right now. And then Coach Hill, as he's preparing for a season, what is he doing to make sure the kids are safe and that he's a productive coach at the time so we can win football games?